Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in Las Vegas bringing you this absolutely stacked card. UFC 1, the first event of this brand new UFC 5 universe. And we're starting off with Dan the Hangman Hooker taking on Bobby King Green. I think this was a great choice to open up this card. Not to pat myself on the own back, because I do make these cards. I set up all the fights, but nonetheless, Dan Hooker, a very entertaining fighter, and Bobby Green, although he may not get the credit he deserves, he is as well in his own right. He is that showboaty, hands-down kind of style, and we'll see if he can keep that energy when facing someone like Dan Hooker. And honestly, I think he will. Bobby Green's a very cocky fighter. He has a lot of self-confidence, which can be bad. I don't think it is in his case. So I think he will kind of bring that style to Dan Hooker, because I'm sure in his mind he thinks he can beat Dan Hooker, which is definitely possible. If I had to guess the odds right now, I'd say Dan Hooker is a slight favorite, if not maybe moderate, probably in that plus, probably minus 180 for Dan Hooker, I'd say. Around that, not too big of a favorite, but significant enough to where you wouldn't really want to bet on him. But here we go. Dan Hooker has made his way into the octagon. Bobby Green doing the same himself. And while Bobby Green does make his way to the octagon, I do want to take a second to let you guys know, if you want to watch the rest of the fights on this card, each fight is posted individually, and that's just because if they were all in one video, it'd be a long video. I'm not sure how long, probably it'd be over an hour, definitely over an hour. So around that range, it's just easier to post them like this, so you can watch them individually. Maybe if you don't want to watch the whole card, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just watch each fight on their own. So Umar Nurmagomedov versus Rob Font, and the rest of the fights are posted already if you are watching this. But here we go. Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, about to get started. Both fighters have made their way into the octagon, and here's Bruce Buffer to get this one started.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel the Hangman Hooker. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Bobby King Green.
Now, as I said before, I think the chances of this fight being entertaining are very high. Dan Hooker misses that overhand. Bobby Green, nice hook to the body. Hooker misses. Oh, landed that left though. Swinging pretty wildly there. Didn't really get a good hit in. Bobby Green tries to kick the leg of Dan Hooker.
Hard straight.
Hooker with a feint and goes for the calf. Oh, he got in there on the body.
Come on, buddy. Keep your
Bobby Green
hands up.
fought
Let's
back.
go.
That right. Oh, that was a nice overhand from Hooker. Bobby Green kind of just standing still here, not reacting to much, which you don't really want to see. I mean, oh, that was a good left from Dan. And a nice uppercut. You don't want to see Bobby Green not in your face throwing, because he's just not throwing it at all, really. He's throwing once or twice. He landed there, so did Hooker, though. Dan Hooker got 2 jabs off there.
Let's go. Get off first for me.
Oh, that was a nice calf kick from Bobby Green. It'd be really good for him, really beneficial if he could just try and eliminate the legs of Hooker, make them hurt, make it so Dan Hooker is in pain every time he walks towards him.
Come on, hands.
Bobby Green's very good at pressuring. That was a really nice counter strike there. Is that right? He's good at pressuring, so if he can get Dan Hooker on the back foot, it will really increase his chances of winning this fight. So far, there's not a lot of action in this first 2 minutes. Even Herb Dean calling for them to work. Oh, that was a nice combination from Bobby Green, though. Dan Hooker avoided those strikes. He got caught there. Maybe Bobby Green just warming up. That was a nice uppercut. But that was a nice left. Sorry, right from Bobby Green that rocked Dan Hooker. Now going to the body. See exactly what I'm talking about. He's pressuring Dan Hooker. He's landing a lot. That was a nice right as well. Big elbow from Dan Hooker, though.
That's an uppercut right there.
And Bobby Green, through his patience, rocked Dan Hooker, and he's winning this round now. So maybe it worked. That was a really beautiful left, though, from Dan Hooker. Got right through the guard of Bobby Green. Blocks both those body shots. Got caught there with that straight. Bobby Green switching stances a lot, maybe confusing Dan Hooker. That was a really good body kick. Oh, big left hook. Rocks Dan Hooker again. Dan Hooker, though, pressing forward. We're back in the middle of the octagon. He's got a cut under that left eye of his. That was a nice right. Checks the leg kick as well. And he caught him with that straight. Oh. Hooker's leg just buckled a little bit after that calf kick. Maybe hurting him. That checked it that time. Oh, dodges the head kick. Could have punched him there. Didn't really go for it, though. Bobby Green, look at his head movement. He's missing. Dan Hooker's missing a lot of his punches here due to the head movement of Bobby Green. And you heard it. Oh, that was a really nice dodge there. Bobby Green swinging at thin air. You've heard it time and time again. Styles make matchups. Dan Hooker could be the better fighter here. And he probably is, but Bobby Green's style could work really well against him. He's a really technical striker. Oh, that was a big... That check right there on Bobby Green's leg hurt. He's backing up. And that you do not want to back up against Dan Hooker. He's going to see that. And he's going to hone in. And you can see that happening right now. Bobby Green has his back to the cage. Dan Hooker is just chasing him. Not giving him any space. Going to the body. That was a nice combination there. He pushes him back. 15 seconds left in this first. That was a nice kick to the leg from Dan Hooker. Went to the body a little bit. Checks the leg kick again. And that is the end of the first. Second half, a lot more eventful than the first half of the first round. Now, Bobby Green landed the bigger strikes there. He rocked Dan Hooker twice. I think it was twice. Look at that axe kick, by the way. I didn't even comment on that. But Dan Hooker hurt the legs of Bobby Green. You can see he got cut open there. There's left eye. So, first round will go to Bobby Green, I believe. I don't think you can make an argument for Dan Hooker. But it wasn't one-sided.
You ready to fight? Ready.
And that leg of Bobby Green could be messed up. I think it's his left one. It might be his right, though. I'm not sure. And Dan Hooker did heat up a little that last minute and a half or so. So he could be getting in his mode. That was a nice straight there from Bobby Green a second ago. Dan Hooker misses. There, you can see Bobby Green landing 40% of his strikes. Dan Hooker only 28%. So not landing a lot. And what are they doing? They're just standing here in the middle of the octagon, not doing anything. That was a really nice hook to the body. Bobby Green shot back with that straight. Got through with that right hook as well. Going to the body again. Didn't land there. And Dan Hooker, yeah, you're going to see that. He checked that leg kick. Bobby Green immediately switched stances. He does not want that leg in front. It's taken a lot of damage already. And we're early in the second round. We have a whole round possibly after this. So it's not good for his leg to be that damaged. Dan Hooker gets the calf kick. To get damage to that leg too. That really hurt Bobby Green. He's one of the few fighters that can fight in both stances. And I think Dan Hooker knows this. He's going for that leg still. Oh, big front kick though. And Bobby Green really reacted to that feint there. He hates these calf kicks. He needs to stop them. He's not checking any of them. I don't think I've seen a single check from him this fight so far. And he hasn't switched back so far either. He switched back there though. So that hurt leg is in front. Susceptible to calf kicks from Dan Hooker, who will probably go for them. Nice jab there from Bobby Green. Misses the high kick. Dan Hooker looks beat up here. Probably doesn't feel a thing knowing him though. Trying to cross that distance. Not going to that front leg though. Oh, big high kick from Bobby Green. Rock Dan Hooker again. Bobby Green chasing him a little bit. Dan Hooker hits a straight. Oh, that was a big left though. And he's swinging wildly at Bobby Green, who's just covering up. So I do want to mention switch stances again. Didn't remain in that stance for long. High kick from Dan Hooker. Bobby Green got through in that uppercut. Bobby Green's corner calling for elbows. He gets the calf kick that time. Dan Hooker needs to do something here to win this round back, because he could be looking at the end of this round like he's down 2-0. That was a really good calf kick. Dan Hooker visibly reacted to that. And a big left from Bobby Green. Dan Hooker's actually doing a good job of getting through on this jab though. He's using it pretty well. This is the high kick. Bobby Green remaining patient. Oh, nice right. And kicked the calf of Bobby Green again. That leg is definitely damaged. He lands the high kick though. And he's going for a takedown. And he gets it. Falls right into side control. You do not see Bobby Green try to grapple very often. And not really sure why he did that. His corner wasn't calling for it. Looking for a crucifix here. Now going for the arm triangle. I doubt he's going to get it here. Doesn't look too tight. Now it's a lot tighter. But Dan Hooker managed to get out, but Bobby Green went to knee on belly there, but postured down to get the control. For this last 30 seconds, which I think is the smart thing to do. He's looking at himself being up 2 rounds to 0. Dan Hooker trying to get out of this. If I had to guess, not really a guess, Dan Hooker is better at grappling than Bobby Green. I don't think we'll see this early in the 3rd round. I think Bobby Green knew he wasn't expecting a takedown, and just really to solidify that round, not risk any damage, even.
Everything you got goes into this last round. You hear me? You're losing this one.
Dan Hooker's corner,
Have faith in your striking. This guy
letting him know he's down 2-0. He needs a finish, or possibly a 10-8. So if he could really go out here and just batter Bobby Green, which not looking very possible, then he could at least try and get a draw here. But here we go, 3rd and final round of this fight. Maybe not the war everyone was expecting. Still a decent fight, as Dan Hooker gets caught with that left hook. Caught him with that right though. And already I'm noticing Dan Hooker not really looking too urgent for a finish. He's not that Dan Hooker you're used to seeing, where he's just going out there. He doesn't care if he gets hurt. He's going to hurt you. He's not doing that. Checks the leg kick there. He's being patient, which may be the smart thing. That was a really nice overhand there from Bobby. Body kick and left hook connects for Dan Hooker.
after that cut. Go after that cut. Strike.
He needs to do something here to try and
Pick it up.
knock Bobby Green out, maybe submit him. Knockout, I'd guess, is what he'd be going for. Nice calf kick there from Bobby Green. And a nice overhand. Not really used to seeing this from Dan Hooker.
Let's move.
Getting battered like this and not really battering back. That was a nice uppercut. And a nice right hook, though, from Bobby Green. They're both firing back at each other. And I think everyone was expecting the whole fight to be this. That sequence right there where both fighters were connecting, but still throwing. And we're getting little glimpses of what was possible. That was a really nice double 1-2 to the body of Dan Hooker. Oh, nice knee, though, from the Hangman. I mean, his face is really messed up. You can probably not see out of one of his eyes, I'm sure. He needs to watch that left hook of Bobby Green. It's been landing and hurting Dan Hooker all night long. And just about 3 minutes remain in this third and final round.
3, 2, 3.
I think Bobby Green knows he's up 2-0. He's just kind of not taking very many risks,
Go after the cut.
which will not make him a fan favorite, but it is the smart thing to do.
Let's go to the head now.
Nice uppercut from Dan Hooker, just not too much power behind it. He's landing cleanly a lot here. Maybe not a lot. He's landing cleanly a decent amount, though. Just not a lot of power behind it. Got that jab to land.
Make him react to you. You fight.
And the calf kick.
Fight your fight.
Body kick's blocked, and so's the body shot.
All right, hands up, hands
Bobby Green looked very nice here. That was a nice front kick. Bobby Green looking very clean with his striking tonight. Looking like he may be a problem in this 155 division.
after that cut. Go after that cut. Strike.
And maybe he just is a bad matchup for Dan Hooker. We will see more of him,
Comes that kick.
more of both of these fighters down the line, but just a little disappointed in Dan Hooker here.
Takedown wins around.
Bobby Green really isn't thought of to be of the top echelon of the lightweight division. Dan Hooker could be champion. I don't see Bobby Green becoming champion. He's a little too old. But anything's possible. It is a new universe.
Let it go now.
Nice head movement from both fighters. And Bobby Green, that was a really nice single. Transition to a double.
Keep those hands up for me. Keep those hands high.
Showing he does have some grappling. He's not just a boxer. And he's going for the arm triangle here.
There's a arm triangle.
He went for it in that second, but Dan Hooker managed to escape. This looks tighter as Dan Hooker gets out, though, from north to south. He can go for a Darce here. Go for something to try and get him his win. I have a feeling he's going to try and stand up. Bobby Green makes him go to the half guard. But Dan Hooker walks in the mount. There's still a minute left in this third. Anything's possible.
Take a deep breath.
If he can posture up here and just start raining elbows down.
Move. Scramble.
And he's trying to get his posture up, but Bobby Green not allowing that to happen. He's trying to get out and mount, and he does. And he even gets his guard back. And Dan Hooker needs to just try something here. He's going to stand up. He's going to go for this knockout.
Good shots. Keep it up.
He looks tired, though. I don't think he has the energy to do that.
Let it go now.
20 seconds left for Dan Hooker to try and get the finish here.
Punches and bunches. Punches and bunches. Let's go.
Lands the straight. And Dan Hooker gets rocked. Falling back. And that is the end of this fight. And I think we're looking at a comfortable 3-0 for Bobby Green to get this win over Dan Hooker. Nothing's official yet until the judges say so, though. We don't know what they wrote on their scorecards if they're watching a completely different fight than us. Anything's possible, but we're looking at a 3-0 Bobby Green, in my opinion, and probably yours as well. Here's Bruce Buffer to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges scored the contest 30-28, 30-27, and 30-28. For the winner by unanimous decision, Bobby King
And I do agree with that. Judges got it right, 30-27. Next up, if you do want to watch it, Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Rob Font. So I'll see you guys in the next fight. Hope you enjoyed. Not the most fun fight there was, but yeah, I'll see you in the next one.